Hello. Not sure if you can see me. Please let me know. Well, it looks like my video's there. Good. Alright, bear with me 1 minute. It has been a while. Started now. Alright, if you can hear and see me, let me know how long you've been playing the oud for, and anything else that might help me tailor this and just for you. Thanks for joining. With you shortly. So in case you don't know, our tuning is C, G, D, A, F, and C. I gotta tune this up a bit. If you have any burning questions, now's a good time to put them in the chat. Let me know what you want me to discuss. Let's see if you guys have any questions here for me. Alrighty. Okay, cool. Right. All right. Thanks for joining me, guys. Thanks for the comments in the chat. Good to know. Very good to know. All right. All right. Developing an idea. Developing an idea. I guess you're referring to when you improvise, right? Yeah, that's a good question. Takes a lot of training in order to get to that point. And you come as you train to learn the art of taksim, you gain and absorb a lot of these themes while you copy other people. It all starts from copying other people, and you make up your own things as you go as well. And when you copy your other people and you elaborate on what other people are doing, and then you start to create your own things, then certain things you start to get creative with what you're doing. The ultimate goal is to not think about anything while it happens. It should happen just as a kind of a flow kind of state. The more you think about it, the less it's going to be effective in most cases. So it's really an art form that just has to kind of flow from you after training for a long time. So during practicing and whatnot, you can do these kind of things. You can think. But during the performance side, you want to let go and just kind of let it all kind of come out. And so sometimes things happen without even thinking about it. And other times you need to kind of pause and wait for the inspiration to come. And so there are some techniques that you can do to let ideas come. Let's say, for example, you're kind of, that flow stopped. And let's say you're pausing somewhere. You want to pause somewhere that is kind of stable. So let's say you're doing like Makam Rast or something. And you've been playing around up here. You pause on the G, on Sol. And then explore slowly. Things should come after that, but pausing on the drone note will help with any blockages that can come. Sometimes things don't come, so you just have to kind of let it go and then let it start again. Wait for it to come. If you're actually actively thinking about melodies to create, think of patterns. I always do that. Think of, okay, what kind of melodic pattern can I create? 3 notes, 2 notes, 4 notes. Jumping in different patterns and configurations. You know, you can do this kind of thing. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. Good question, Carol. What is the drone note? So the drone note is any note that you can pause on. In most cases, it's going to be the tonic of the maqam that you're playing, or the ramaz, or the 4th note or the 5th note in the degree, the scale degrees. So let's say you have maqam rast. C is the starting drone. This is creating a drone. But you can create a drone. In theory, you can create a drone anywhere. And you create it on the F or the G. You know, that's the drone. It can be really anything, but it has to be joined to what you're doing. It has to make sense. So that takes time to develop and learn how to do. Yeah, so I would think about patterns, practice different patterns, copy other people. That's how you create themes, and come and go with the theme. Maybe do the theme at different times in your taksim to kind of keep some coherence. I can go into more detail, but I'd like to get to some more questions here. Let's see. For Oud beginners, focusing on learning maqams or songs. So I would focus on learning songs for sure, especially at the first, let's say, 1 to 2 years. Focus on songs because songs have maqams and they're played in particular maqams, and the more songs you learn in particular maqam, the more that maqam you'll get to know that maqam, and from there you can then explore after you've learned the basic ones, and let's say you've learned 5 to 10 songs in each of the basic maqams, or 4 or 5 maqams, then you can start to think about other more obscure maqamat that are out there. But yeah, songs at the beginning for sure. Technique and what's possible, how you would know. And notating certain techniques is a difficult subject, and that requires some longer than what I can talk about here. And there's different conventions for notating certain techniques, and everyone kind of has their way of doing it. Perhaps there's no standard kind of way of doing it, especially in Arabic and Turkish music. In most cases, Arabic and Turkish scores do not add ornamentation because the artist is meant to interpret that and to add their own ornamentation. So let's say you're composing for the oud, for example. It's helpful to sometimes you can do it 2 ways. You can either write all the ornamentation if you know the ornamentation really well. You can write them all in there, but that means you'd have to know how to do it. You'd have to know approximately how it's done, how it's notated. The other way to do it is to write out a basic melody and then let the artist interpret that. That's probably the best way, and they'll, based on the what the song's supposed to sound like or the vibe of the song, they can usually, if they're a really good artist, they can interpret the piece and the melody properly. That's working with Western composers myself over the years. It's been a weird experience because oftentimes you will interpret the piece differently than what they want, the composer wants. And because you haven't heard the piece yet, you just get your score and you are expected to play. You don't know what it's supposed to sound like. So the ornamentation has to reflect the piece, the vibe of the piece. So it takes some time. It may take at least one rehearsal to understand how the piece is supposed to be. It's good to speak to the composer to understand what they want, what kind of vibe they want there, and then have different options of ornamentation. Another thing that can happen is that ornamentation can vary from performance to performance, and that makes it interesting and sweet. So that's something to take in consideration if you're going to do it that way. More like jazz in that respect. All right, let's get to some questions here. All right, Risha, up and down. Okay, very good question. I'll get to that, down and up strokes. Hang on. Zeryab Oud on the site, yes. I have to update the stock on the site for Zeryab Ouds. I will get to that. Takes a bit of time. I have to check what's in stock right now, but do check back from time to time. Let me know which Zeryab Oud you're interested in. Is it the Nahat design, the more intermediate level one? Or is it the kind of basic Zeryab one, and I can, if you send me an email, I can check the stock and update things. I just got back from a long trip and I haven't updated what stock's there, what stock is available in a while. So I'll get on that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the form and structure of taksim. There's a video I did and a blog that I've written about Farid al-Atrash, his taksim, and one of his famous taksims. Generally, in like very basic way of describing it, a taksim has to kind of start as a building of energy. Doesn't have to. There's this is Farid al-Atrash's taksim. They usually start with a little intro, little kind of hook, a little bit of a establishing the maqam. Then there's a build up to a modulation of either one or more modulations, and then there can be a more rhythmical section of the takasim, where it starts to get rhythmic and dynamic and very exciting, and then has a very nice flourish finale at the end, where it's obvious that the artist is ending their taksim. That's the general Farid al-Atrash kind of taksim. Now, takasim in general can have so many varieties. It can be short. There can be 20-minute takasim, which go from ebb and flow with different kind of sections in it, and so it can be very elaborate. Well, and it all just depends on the context. Okay, that's a little bit about takasim. If you go on my blog at OudforGuitarists.com and just search for Farid al-Atrash or something, you should be able to find that blog article about Farid's takasim. See the kind of the breakdown of how he plays the taksim in most cases. All right, let's talk about. Oh yeah, I want to talk about stroke down and up and how to do that effectively, and what exercises to practice, especially for beginners. And I want to also mention that right now until Monday at the end of the day, 12 a.m. Monday night, there's a promo flash sale with the Easy Oud Songs courses that I have. So check that out at this link here. Put that in the chat so you can take a look. You get a 20% discount off the two courses, Easy Oud Songs Volume 1 and Volume 2. And I'm throwing in 7 bonus song tutorials. Those song tutorials are a mix of easy Oud songs that I know and have taught before, and that I've made videos for in my online programs, but I'm including them as a bonus. So here's the link. You can check that out there and see if you're interested in that. Volume 1 is our easy Oud songs. Most of them are Arabic songs. They're essential repertoire that everybody really knows. There's one Greek tune in there, and Volume 2 focuses on like 10 of the most famous Farid al-Atrash songs, which are fantastic to learn. And so check that out. The other 7 songs, there's some Palestinian folk songs in there. There's a traditional muashahat, and then there's a couple others too. There's one Kurdish traditional tune in the 7 bonus songs, and you can get that only today and tomorrow, basically. All right, so down and up strokes. This is a really good question. If you're having trouble with down and up strokes, the best thing to do is to go slow. Really go slow. And you want to get a nice, when you do the downstroke, you want to let the weight of your hand fall, as well as when your right hand falls on the string. It's natural for the index finger and the thumb to tighten up a little bit. The basic stroke, the basic downstroke, the Risha, the tip of the Risha or Mezrab will land on the string below the one that you hit. See that there? Change my angle here, see if you can see that. So I'm playing on the D string, Re here. It's all in the forearm and the wrist. Let it it goes. The upstroke is just the backwards motion of that. Now, in this basic downstroke where the usually it's in English it's called a rest stroke, where the Risha lands on the string below. This stroke tends to have a weaker upstroke. The tone is a bit different, and that's normal. And that part of the charm of the sound of the oud. So don't worry about it too much. But if you later on, when you're more adept and you're more advanced, then what you can do is you can change the angle of your forearm. You see how I subtly change the angle of my forearm here? Whereas the angle of my attack is, my thumb is kind of tilted away from the oud. This little angle change. When you're like this, the angle of the Risha is going to go into the soundboard. And then you get a nice strong downstroke. But when you do an upstroke, it's weaker because you're not going to hit that double string as easily. Now, when you change the angle of your wrist, and now see my thumb is more or less facing toward the ceiling and down. When you stroke like this, which is also a more advanced stroking technique, where your Risha can still land on the string below, but it reduces the difference of angle on the down and the upstroke. So the downstroke is very similar to how the upstroke comes. So the tone and the sound stays more or less the same. So what you should do is a simple exercise that you can do is create a pattern of 1, 2, 3, 4. Just do downstrokes on this 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then start doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so you're doing down on 1, up on and, down on 2, up on and, down on 3, up on and, down on 4, down up on and. So alternate between downstrokes on the beat and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then when you get good at this, you can start doing quarter notes, down, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then do 16th notes. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, down up, down up, down up, down up. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like so. And the important thing is to start slowly and to really be deliberate. Feel how your hand and your body react to the resistance of the string. Simple exercise that you can do to slowly get better at doing down up patterns. And once you get really good at doing this, now go choose a scale or a maqam and start doing the same thing with that scale. For example, you can start doing down on let's say C major, help you coordinate the left hand and the right hand. So if that's still difficult, then just stick to quarter notes for the moment until you learn the scale properly. Then go to eighth notes, 1 and 2 and. So forth and so on until you get to 16th notes. These are good exercises that you can just do every day for a few minutes. If you do it just for a few minutes every day, you will see progress. Then go ahead and practice a song that you're trying to learn or something. Right, let's see if there's any other questions. Carol, yeah, I'm not. You might be able to retrofit your oud with these. You might be able to, but if you want to retrofit, probably the best thing to do is get those pegs, tuning pegs with gears inside. Like, I think they're called Perfection pegs. That's one brand. And then there's Widner pegs, but they are expensive, depending on who installs them. But once they're in there, they're good for life. But yeah, this might be a bit weird to retrofit into your. The other pegs that have geared tuners in there would be better for retrofitting. Yeah, it just depends on luthier. Any luthier might be able to do it for you. Yeah, I can imagine that pegs are really hard on your hands. Pyramid strings, yes, they are good quality. They're some of the standard oud strings that you. Yeah, the 10 easy Feiruz songs. That's an excellent idea. Yeah, I was thinking of doing another course, a new course on Kulthum songs. But Feiruz is gonna be that would be a fantastic one too. So I would definitely take that into consideration. There are a lot of great songs already. He's done so many of them. All right. So that's about all the time that I have for today. So if you are interested in learning some more easy oud songs, do check out the link that I put in the chat there right now until Monday night Pacific time, 12 a.m. Pacific time. You can get 20% discount on when you bundle those two courses, and you'll also get 7 additional songs. Yeah, I can stay if you guys have any last minute questions or quick ones to answer. I'd be happy to answer. And yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I do not have my Dimitri oud with me here in Japan. I'm keeping it at home in case you ever have to travel again. Keep it there so that I have an oud there to keep and continue my work. So you've always played finger picking and using a pick feels foreign. How important do you think the pick is to playing oud? Playing oud, it's extremely important. There's not. I'd say there's pretty much zero serious oud players who actually use their fingers seriously and have developed serious technique with it. You can, but what happens with the oud? You use your fingers to make the sound, right? And the sound is already soft and warm. When you start to use your fingers, even if you do have some good nails on there, it does dampen the sound and you don't get the characteristic Risha sound. The Risha sound is really the way to go. You have to remember that the Risha is more of a percussive thing. You're hitting the strings, you're not plucking the strings so much. And the oud has a rhythmic aspect which is so essential to the sound that is created. can't get that with finger picking. You will never get that sound. So it depends on what you want out of the oud too. If that's the type of playing you want to do, where you play some highly rhythmical things, dynamic things, you want to get that attack, then you got to play with the Risha. That's where developing that is important. With finger picking, yeah, you can get softer sounds if that's what you want to do. That's cool too, but it's very important to develop the Risha to really get the most out of the oud, in my opinion. All right, thanks so much for joining me, guys. It was good to do this again after a long time. Hopefully I'll do it again next month, at least once or so. And yeah, so do check out the Easy Oud Songs package that I have. Save 20%, get 7 bonus songs. And yeah, and if you enjoyed this, I would really appreciate if you share this video on social media if you're interested, if you have other musician friends who are interested in this kind of thing. That'd be great. All right, have a good one.